Hey guys. Yeah, the next story, so about age 25, I met this guy named John, and we like got together. I met him, and we met like online or whatever, and we decided to have like a friend with benefit kind of relationship. So we had a friend with benefit kind of relationship, and things like I thought it was going well and everything, but then I was on this weight loss journey at the time because I was 300 pounds, and then I had already lost weight before I met him. I lost 40 pounds, and then while I was with him, I was on the weight loss journey still, and I lost another about 40, 60 pounds, and so we were dealing with each other, and then once I lost weight, he started to change towards me, and then next thing you know, he stopped talking, and he just ghosted me, and then I didn't know what was going on. I thought, oh, like I lost weight, and now, like, you know, my life should get better. I shouldn't have situations like this. But yeah, he ended up ghosting me. And then after that, shortly, that's when all the gang stalking started. All these different kinds of things started, and at the same time, like, it was at the same time the election started, where like Trump was elected, and like all this election stuff was going on, like all this craziness in the country, all these like protests and riots, and then yeah, the gang stalking started. And I remember like all these things started. Like I noticed like when I started going out into public, people would be like hostile and angry seeming towards me. It just seemed like I was getting like random looks, like just weird looks. I noticed I was starting to get like random messages online. I was getting like hate messages and all this kind of stuff, and like some page, I think that he was using a page like calling this name Ruxana Ali, some kind of like instant messenger type of Facebook page that he was using to talk to me, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it was definitely somebody posing as somebody is what it seemed like, for sure. That's what it was. So I remember I began to work a job in Playa Vista. It was called Cinemark, and I remember like many of the managers there were racist, and people were saying that these managers were racist, and yeah, pretty much like basically I was being harassed at this job, targeted. Like I came outside and my tail light was busted. I remember like people would play favorites working at the job, like the managers and stuff, and then I remember like being so stressed out, and I couldn't even take it anymore. And then I remember my gallbladder got messed up after that. I had gallbladder issues, so like I ended up having to get surgery and get my gallbladder removed. And then pretty much when I got my gallbladder removed, they purposefully knew when I got out of surgery that, okay, you need pain medication after surgery. So what they did was this doctor made it to where I had to go back to the ER because they did something to where they wrote the prescription wrong or something like that, but they did it on purpose for sure. So I had to go back to the ER for pain because like that, they just, all these things just done on purpose. I was only given like a low dose of pain medicine on purpose, so I'd be suffering in pain. Shortly after that, I remember I was in so much pain. I remember lying down, and I guess I was in so much pain because they weren't treating my pain properly. I had like a life-death kind of experience, it seemed like. Oh wow, this rain, sorry, it's like, it's snowing, so there's like raindrops, and now it looks like raindrops are all over my face. Like, okay, so it started to, yeah, pretty much I had like a life-death experience, I guess. Maybe I was in so much pain. I just remember falling asleep, and I was at home, and then I remember like, next thing I noticed, there was this bright silver light. This silver like light just came out of somewhere. It looked like mercury. Like it was like this silver light just kind of appeared out of nowhere next to me on the bed. And then this guy appeared, this man was very pale. He had blue eyes, and he looked like, I don't know how to explain it. Like he looked lifeless or something. Like he didn't look human. He looked like a ghost, or I don't know what he was, but I remember feeling really scared. And I remember him just looking at me, and it was so weird. It was really weird and really scary. Yeah, he was just like looking at me, and I just thought, wow, that's so weird. And then I think it disappeared or something. I don't know what happened, but it definitely seemed to be like a life-death experience. It was really weird, but it was some kind of apparition that appeared. And so it was weird, really weird. So after all that went down, I started to kind of like eventually feel better. I healed from my surgery, but then next thing you know, okay, so I turned I think 26 or something like that. My grandma wanted to take me out for dinner, so she's like, oh, hey, let's go to this Ruth Chris Steakhouse. I guess it's some, like, expensive steakhouse. So I go there, I get, like, a steak and broccoli, and then about a day later, 2 days later, I end up in the ER. I'm very, very ill. I'm very, very sick. I don't know whether my food was poisoned or what was going on. Looking back, my food most likely was poisoned. I remember having to go to the hospital. They wanted to keep me there, but they didn't want to explain what was going on. They wouldn't tell me anything that was going on. I remember being really mistreated by this doctor. Her name was Maya, and she was Indian, from like Indian or whatever, and she was so rude to me. There was this other doctor named Dr. Herman. I don't remember his first name, but his name was Dr. Herman. He's a gastroenterologist. This was all at Cedars-Sinai, which is a very racist hospital. And I remember, like, being left in this, I was in, like, a room for, you know, observation or whatever. They kept me in this observation room, but at the same time, this doctor was telling me nothing was wrong with me, that there was nothing wrong, but they were forcing me to stay. They said I could not leave, and I was kept there for a week. I was in severe pain. My pain was not being treated purposefully by this doctor. I was being laughed at by nurses. The treatment that I dealt with, I couldn't even believe what was going on. I could not even believe that a hospital was doing this and that this was even allowed to go on. I couldn't believe that these criminals were working in a hospital specifically to hurt me on purpose. These people were psychopaths. I couldn't believe it. So I asked, you know, just let me leave. And they're like, so pretty much they were looking at a computer. This group of doctors comes, these nurses, and they're looking at the computer. They're looking at my test results, and they're whispering, saying, oh, look at this test. Something's wrong. They didn't tell me anything that was wrong with my test. They didn't want to tell me anything of what my blood work was or anything. But obviously something was wrong with the blood work, because they were looking at the computer and saying, oh, something's wrong here, this and that. And she can't leave. So this was the main start of my gang stalking, and I just couldn't even believe it. I reported it. They destroyed the paperwork. They destroyed everything. The gang stalking continued. I noticed that when I would get home or when I'd wake up, I noticed like sweet and chemical smells coming from my water. I noticed when I would get fast food, I would get sick all the time. I was going in and out of the hospital while I was in California. I remember getting food, and then next thing you know, my stomach is burning. It's burning for days, like something was put into the food. They would leave trash outside of my house. They would send, like, people to gang stalk me that obviously clearly were paid. Like, they would like to send, like, illegal aliens and stuff like that, that they could pay cheaply to stalk me and follow me around. I remember going to the hospital, and I went to the ER. I had like a kidney stone. This nurse, she hid her name tag, specifically hid the name on her name tag, and I do have that video somewhere. She hid her last name and name. She got a big, large syringe, took a large amount of blood from me, which should not have been taken. I began to record. They began to get very angry about me recording that. They didn't want to get caught, I guess, or something like that. So, yeah, a lot of these people came. They were trying to kill me at the hospital, kill me any way that they can. And I believe highly when they were doing these IVs, they were putting some kind of chip in my arm, because my arm would be hurting for days after getting an IV done. Specifically BHS Medical Center, and it's owned by the name of some guy named Michael Bellew, I guess, or whatever. This medical center was like low cost, some kind of dangerous type of medical center, I guess. So yeah, so this is how my gang stalking started. There were other things that would be going on, like when I'm driving, these people try to, like, you know, get really aggressive driving near me. I've had cars, like, throw trash out in, like, while they're driving, so that when I drove, my car would hit it. I had, like, guys harassing me everywhere I'd go. Like, I would come outside to my car, and there'd be a guy, like, peeing somewhere, like, or something. Like, just weird kind of creepy stuff. Being followed around. I've had all my internet stuff compromised, my messages hacked, emails intercepted, all that stuff. So they really started this gang stalking stuff, and it got really, really crazy. And yeah, it was just, this is ridiculous. So that's how the gang stalking stuff started. And now I'm going to get into the next story more about the other more of these abduction experiences. So, yeah, so go ahead and email me if you have any questions. My email's in the description box. Thank you so much.